നമസ്കാരം. ഏറനാടൻ നാട്ടുവാർത്തയുടെ EnTVയിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം.
And this session, first I welcome our chief guest, English research scholar, Ms. Raghavi Priya ma'am. Welcome ma'am.
Good evening everyone present here. So as sir said, I am Ms. Raghavi Priya. I am completing my PhD at VIT University. My specialization is in psychology and literature, so it's pure psychology. So language itself, if you take, it deals with psychology, okay? Because you need to connect with a person in order to have a conversation. You need to connect with the language if you want to learn it well. If you don't like a language, you can't, your brain won't access it properly. You won't be able to, get it into your system properly. Okay. So my title is the WHS of English. Can any one of you just, tell me what is the WHS in English? This is something that you would have come across, the WHS. Yes, dear?
Question words.
Yes, ma'am. The WHS is nothing but what, when, where, whom, who, okay, and when. So, in order to learn not just English, any language, these are the questions that you should ask. First of all, what for you're learning the language, okay? What is the reason that you want to learn? Because each one of us will have a reason. Some will have the reason because they have gone to a new place where the common language of conversation is in English, okay? Some people will learn it for their profession. Some people will learn it for the leisure. Some people just want to have another language, okay, put into their resume. So that, each one has a different ideology. Each one has a different reason. So the what is always important, because a person who understands a language and learns it for his profession, his or her, they don't need to learn the intricate details of the language. They just need something to converse. So they need the business or professional English. But a person who wants to connect, okay, to learn the history of a culture, to go and set in a different land. For example, if you want to go to US or UK, you need to learn the cultural identity of the language. You need to know why certain words are used, why certain idioms are used. If you want to get connected with people in UK, you have to use a lot of idioms and phrases in your language, because those people use it on a regular basis. We are not someone who uses it. But South Indians can really interact very well with UK people, because we use a lot of idioms. So you need to know the culture of a language, okay? And next is why, okay? What you have already learned, okay? Next, you need to know why. There's a reason for you, okay? Even though you go for a profession, you need to know why you want to learn it, okay? Everyone knows English, okay? In India, English is kind of like the primary language here. But why? Are you a beginner who the why is important, because even though you are learning it for a particular purpose, for example, you are learning it for your profession, your profession and my profession will differ, okay? A teacher has to learn a different kind of an English. A business person has to learn a different kind of English, okay? So according to the profession, it differs. So you need to know the why you want to learn English, okay? Whether you want to learn the beginner's version of the English, or the intermediate of the English, or you want advanced English, okay? So the why is always important. So if you know these two things, you will be clear with the language, okay? Because you will be very kind of like, you won't just learn the entire language. You will learn the specification of the language, so that it's easy and you don't get bored with the language, okay? See, first of all, English is just another language. It's like Malayalam, it's like Tamil, it's like Telugu, okay? It's just another language. Don't get intimidated by it, okay? Don't get intimidated by the accent. Just talk normal English, okay? Just talk plain, simple sentences. Start easy, okay? Don't think, oh my God, a person is talking very well in English and I don't know English that well. Don't ever think that, okay? English is just another language. And always, I still remember my professor, the first thing that she said to us is that there's nothing right or wrong in English, okay? Whatever you speak is actually right. Whatever I speak is actually right. There's no construct in English saying that this is right or wrong. There are some rules and regulations, but they are not prescribed everywhere. Okay, the rules for US diction is different from UK. So you need to know why. You need to learn the language well so that you are clear in your mind that you need not become a master in it, but you can just become a learner who uses it correctly. Okay, just using correct English is enough to have a conversation. Okay, and next you have the what and the why. Next, what is the thing that you think you have to learn? Anyone? The WH questions, the what, the why, next. Exactly. When, where, and who. Okay. So where you're going to use this language. Okay. I've learned my language right now. So where are you going to use it? Are you going to use it as a salesperson? Okay. If you're in the business field, are you going to be a salesperson using it to a common man who uses simple English? Are you going to use it into a wide range of people? Okay. Maybe you're a CEO of a company and you need to use specific English. Okay, so you need to know where you're using it. Okay, you can't take advanced English and use it to a normal person, and you can't take the normal English and use it to an advanced person. Okay, so you need to know where you're using it. Okay, always be easy that you use the simple English wherever possible, so that it is common to everyone. Okay, so now after the where, what is the other thing that you use? What is the other thing that you use? Where? You said what?
Which,
Why? Where?
which,
Which? What is the other WH? Important WH. When? When you want to use it.
Oh,
Okay, when you are trying to use it. Okay, so you have to be very much detailed. Okay, when meaning the surrounding. Okay, the particular timing that you are using. You know not the person, you know your reason, you know why you have learned it. Okay, but you need to know when, particularly the region or the time that you're going to use it. Okay, you can't use the same English everywhere. Okay, so you have to be very clear when, meaning the timing. Okay, the timing is important in a language. Okay, so if you want to start with a person, don't just go and start with very prosaic language, meaning a kind of like a deep rich language, because that person will get intimidated and you won't connect with that person. So always know the timing. Okay, start with a simple English, start having a conversation. The human touch is always important. Okay, have a connection and then build on your language. So as you go, you and that person will have a connect and your language will also grow. It's a give and take policy. Okay, English is always a give and take language. You will get something from the person and you'll give something to the person. At the end of the day, it's just a language where you share the meaning. Okay, where you share the conversation. At the end of the day, both of you should understand what the other person is giving you and what the other person has got from you. Okay, so this is really important. Okay, and also you have to know the history of English. English did not just come, okay, from the Queen's land. Okay, it started with the tribe. Do you know the Nomadic tribe? Okay, anyone from English literature, you'll know. Okay, there was a tribe called as the Nomadic tribe. These people, they are just looters. That is, they will go from one place to another, looting people. So what they did was they looted the language. Okay, looting the language is the one way where you put on the culture. Okay, where you take something from a person. It's very rich. So what they did was they took some Germanic language, they took some French, they took some tribal languages, they mixed together, and that's where you got English as such. Okay, and then later on people started rectifying it, people started filtering it out, and that's where we got the British English. Okay, the original, the kind of the English that we think it is very right. Okay, and the this language became prosaic, it became growing up because of the culture and politics of England. Okay, England wanted to put its force on everyone. So what it did was it made you think that English is very important. It made you think that British English is the right English. Okay, that's when people started thinking that step by step what happened. Okay, like any other place. Okay, other people will start questioning. Okay, that's where you get the Americans, that's where you got the Africans, that's where you got the Australians. Okay, they started questioning. How come you say that your English is right? We also are speaking the same English. Only thing is the dialect changes. Okay. As years went by, people understood that the way you talk is not important. What you talk and the way you converse with the person with the human touch is important. That's why now we have a lot of accent. Okay. We have the British accent, we have the American accent, we have the Canadian accent. Okay. Even Indian English is something that people have started learning. Okay. People who come from US and UK, they start learning the Indian English. Okay. Indian English is like the UK British English, but we have a lot of our mother tongue touch to it. Okay. We have a lot of simple verses,
Yes.
simple sentence. Okay. So now people have noticed it. So now people know that British English is not just the right English. Okay. Any other English is right as long as you have a conversation with the person. Okay. So that's why this WH is really important. And at the end, the H. Okay. How you talk with the person is always important. Okay. Don't try to put your English on another person. Don't think, okay, I know English. Okay. I'm better than anyone. Don't just go to their face and start using all the high words. Don't just mug up words and use to them. Okay. Don't just use vocabulary just because you know a lot of words. Okay. Make sure that the person in front of you, please respect the person in front of you. Okay. Think that he or she might not know English well. Okay. Have a connect, have a human touch, and give your language with respect so that that person will start respecting you and not just your language, because language is just a part of you, it's not the entire you. Okay. So when you know that it is just a language, you will start loving and you'll start mastering it. Okay. Just like that. Only when you think that it is so high and you keep it at a higher level, you'll start getting scared and you won't be able to understand the language. You will not be able to accept it, and you will not even be able to learn it. Okay. So are you clear with the ideology of language? This is
Yes,
English for you. Okay.
Ma'am.
This is English for you. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
yes,
Yeah. So actually, I prepared a PPT. I'll send you the PPT because it has whatever I've told you. It's just a detailed version of it, but I wanted to have more interaction. So any questions, any doubts, you can always ask. Okay, because it's an introduction session. Because last time I did the same topic, but it was in the middle, so I had to go in detail. So introduction, what doubts you have on English? How any fears in English? You can always ask. So always keep this in mind that even a master makes mistake. Okay. Don't think just because someone is talking in English very well that he or she does not make any mistake. They'll be making mistakes, but the way, the confidence that you bring on stage, the respect that you bring for the other person, that gets the human connection and they will start forgetting what mistakes you make. Okay. So that's the rule number one. Always be confident about what you say, where you say, and don't be too conscious. Just be a little bit conscious, okay, who your audience are, and try to converse with them with much confidence and also respect them. They'll get the human touch and they will forget the mistakes you make. Okay, that's rule number one for English. So always keep in mind that there's no such thing as mastering English. Okay, you'll always be a student, you will always be a learner. So never get intimidated by the language. Okay, any doubts, any clarifications, just have a conversation.
Thank you, Ms. Raghavi Priya Jagadish, for your wonderful introduction about WH
Thank you,
words.
sir.
Another thing, thank you for these organizers, such kind of program for a longer days. This is very much helpful to the certain community, whoever is accessing the link of this program. Another particular one thing, thank you, Dr. Musaddiq, just shared that link into the personal window. So I am happy to the part of this community. Another thing, I have a specific doubt. Whenever we are speaking with any people, we have a lot of confusions. Whether we have to put it this kind of word in the communication or not. One thing. The second thing, sometimes we are in a problem to understand the accent of other person. What
Yeah.
actually he used, because we are not familiar such kind of accents. So how can we solve these are the issues?
Okay, so for your first question, I can tell you that try to first have a little bit of conversation. Ask that person where they are from. Okay, just even if it's person who's higher than you, just give a conversation, give yourself intro. Okay, that way that person will get intimidated and they'll tell about themselves. Okay, you can get a certain detail about themselves and just use words. Okay, just if you don't know like what to use, okay, whether you should use sir or madam or whatever, just give respect. Okay, whether they are taking it or not, it's our Indian culture. Okay, just give the respect that you need. And if you're not so much sure about a pronoun, okay, just use the name. Okay, that's one trick. If you don't know, for some people, it's really like hard to use he or she because they get confused. Because sometimes there are some languages, okay, like even Urdu, for example, we don't have a particular pronoun. Okay, we use like a general pronoun sometimes. Even in Tamil, we use vanga ponga. It does not have a gender to it. Okay, so if you're very confused with the gender, use the name wherever you want. If it's a person higher to you, just use their name. For example, if that person's name is like Mahesh or something, just say Mr. Mahesh. I say just sir. Okay, that way you don't get confused with the pronoun. And if you don't know whether you need to give respect, whether you need not give respect, just go with the respect always. That way they won't get offended and you're also safe. Okay, so that's one tiny trick. Because as you start talking, you'll get into flow of it, and by seeing that person, always have a eye contact. Okay, by seeing that person, you'll know whether that person is okay with the way you're talking or is kind of like distant. Okay, if they're distant, change your tone, change your modulation. Always go with a pleasant tone. Don't run with your words. Okay, space it out. Even the simple sentence, space it out and talk like with respect. Just tone your voice. If you have a baritone voice, just lower your tone. Okay, that way they'll think that you're respectful to them and they won't mind it. Okay, and for the second question, okay, you don't know how to you don't know what accent they are using. You just start using your own accent. Okay, start talking with them. By the time you use, they will feel offended. They will feel a little bit kind of like distant, and they'll start talking to you kind of like in your accent. Okay, take the upper hand. Don't give them the upper hand. Always you start a conversation. You start talking, and they'll be in the place of answering. So they will come to a space where they will lower their voice, they will lower their tone, and they will come to your speed. Okay, always start the conversation. Take the the power. Okay, and even then, if that person is trying to prove their accent to you, just be straightforward. Say that, excuse me, sir, or excuse me, ma'am, excuse yourself, and say that I'm not able to understand your accent. That's nothing wrong in it. Okay. Just say that, you're going too fast. Ask them to slow down a bit, because any accent, when they slow down their voice, you'll be able to understand most of what they are saying. Because the only thing is the accent changes. When they change the accent, they will go fast. Okay. When they go fast, you won't be able to understand what they're saying. Any accent, when they talk slow, you can understand. Okay, so it's always it's better to be open. Okay, just tell them that I'm not familiar with your accent, so please can you just come to a like a general version. Everyone knows the general English. Okay, they know, everyone has a general accent. Okay, at least they will lower their voice, they will stress their words, so that you can understand. So always be open about it. Don't feel bad. Okay, there's nothing wrong. You can always be open, because even I have cousins in Australia, I have cousins in US. I can't understand the Australian version. Okay. So always I will say that, please stop. Can you just slow down? And as you start talking with that person, you'll understand the accent. Okay. Our human brain is so powerful. You will start understanding their accents, even though you don't use it. So always be open. Tell them, please, I can't understand your accent. Can you go a little bit slow? Okay. Can you just stress the words? Ask them to stress the words. So, by the way, even if they don't know the accent, you can find out what words they are using. Okay. So, that's one way, sir. You can always be open about it. There's nothing wrong. Yeah. Any doubts? Any conclusion? Yeah. Always don't be frightened. Like, always take the
Hello,
initiative.
ma'am. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening, ma'am.
Today's session was very interesting. We got a lot of
Thank you so
information from
much.
this session. Thank you for that. Ma'am, I have one confusion is that
Yes.
what is the difference between the British English and American English? Why we are choosing British? We are following British English.
Okay, so I'll tell you the why first. The why is because we were one of the colonies of British. Okay, we were one of the colonies which were taken by Britain, and British people, the Britishers, they came here and they colonized India. They ruled us for a long time, so much so that we have got accustomed to the culture. We have got accustomed to the language that we think that they are the ones who are good. Okay, we think that is the pure version. Okay, it's not like a written rule or something. It's just by years together, we have been pushing it down the throat of the other. Even now, if you start talking, if your friend or someone talks in a US accent, they'll say, your accent is not good. It's not pure. Because deep down our mind, it's seeded, meaning it's been put there generations after generations. Okay, that British English is good. It is pure. But now, slowly it's changing. Okay, especially the colonies of Britain, we are the ones who have been stuck with this ideology. Meaning the Commonwealth nations, to be very pure, like not going politicizing it. All the Commonwealth nations think that British English is good, but now they are changing. They know that the value of their own language. That's why even now the laptops you get, there's a version called as Indian English in it. But how many of us are going and like clicking on it? We always go to the UK version. We don't go for the Indian English. Okay, each country has now found out that their version of English is good. Okay, it's not like a written rule. It's just that the mind of people is such that we think that the Britain English is good because they were the ones who came up with the English as such, and they are the ones who colonized most of the places and started pushing it down us. Okay, not even being respectful, they just started pushing it. So years and years and years of being under their rule, we have got something called as the white man's attitude, meaning we have got used to them that we want that. It's not like they are asking us to. We want that. We have got used to it. Okay, there's nothing wrong between both. The only thing is the difference between American and British English is just one, the accent. Okay, because Americans as such, they are not pure breed according to Britishers. Okay, there are many people. There are Indians, there are Africans, there are Australians, there are Canadians. Everyone who have got there found their life. They have started getting intermarriage, okay, and getting interconnected. They found a different language, so their accent is different. It doesn't mean that theirs is wrong. Okay, now American English has been acknowledged and been followed by many people. So there's nothing wrong. The only thing is the pronunciation differs. Second thing, the spelling. Okay, you use you in all the British English, but American English is like if you don't use this like pronunciation, why use the letter in it? Okay, so any silent letter like S, the use, the American English takes it off. Okay, so color, we don't stress on the word you. Okay, we say color. Okay, the U is not pronounced. So if we take the American English, the U will be missing from color. It's COLOR. Okay, it's not COLOUR. Okay, so if you see, American English just makes your life easy. Okay, that's a difference. That's why the British is getting annoyed with them because they think that what they are following is true and good and not the other languages. That's a tiny difference. Nothing else. The accent and the pronunciation because of the spelling. Nothing more to it. You can use whichever English you are familiar with, but all the Commonwealth nations, even now, we are kind of under indirect British rule. Okay, our minds are still in it. So it's high time we acknowledge our own accent and language and we come out of it. It's good that way. So at least I think the future generations will change. Now, because of all the OTT platforms, many people are changing. So it's never wrong to use any other accent other than British. Any doubts, sir?
Thank you, ma'am. For
Yeah, ma'am. Is it doubt clear, ma'am?
yeah, now clear.
It's nothing wrong, ma'am. Nowadays, people actually mostly, without knowing, we are using American English. So there's nothing wrong. Both the English are good. The old people and the people who have been immersed with the old people, we all think that British English is good. I'm like guilty as charged because I was one of that. And later I understood that any other language is as good as, like any English is as good as British English. So it's never wrong. It's never wrong to use your own accent. It's never wrong to use the other language, the other accents. So whichever you're comfortable with, you can go with it.
Hey ma'am, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, yeah.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for your beautiful introduction.
Welcome.
Okay. This platform we all are coming to improve our English. we all are wish to meet good communication skills. Okay,
Yeah.
I ask one question for you
Yeah,
because
sure.
sorry, uh, I hope you are studying time or you just started to speak English.
Yeah.
You faced some problems. How could you build or develop your confidence level?
Okay. So yeah, see, first of all, when I started English, my grandmother was English literature. Okay, so she was like the old lecturer type. Whenever I make mistakes, she'll be very much hard on me. Okay, I got a fear of English in the middle. Okay, when I was small, I was frightened to speak, so I became like an introvert. I never spoke much. But one of the way that you can improve, which I did, is talk to yourself. Go and stand near a mirror, talk to yourself, good or bad, talk to yourself. Just talk like what happened on that particular day, what you want to do on the day. Use English, okay? Don't use any other language. Use English. Good or bad, you'll start, like accepting what you say, and you'll get a confidence when you see the body language, the diction. Okay, I was someone who never used to have hand gestures. Okay, later on I found out that makes people calm. Okay, that makes people kind of attracted to you. It gives them more attention. Okay, so you will understand yourself by just talking with you, just standing near the the mirror. Don't use mobile or anything. Just go stand near the mirror, talk to yourself. Just treat like you're talking to a friend. Okay, that's one way. Second of all, this is something the old way, but never we have forgotten it. Read good books, read good newspapers. Okay, don't rely on all the social media, because the English they use there is totally different. Okay, read small books. Don't be afraid to read children literature, meaning all the fairy tales. Start with small books. Okay, start with a fairy tale, start with something small, and use those words, okay, in your day-to-day language. Use a dictionary. Don't go to the mobile dictionary. Okay, you can use that, but use a normal dictionary, find out the meaning. Okay, and you can translate in your mother tongue and use it. I do that. Okay, I do even in the reverse order, because for me Tamil also was a problem. Tamil is my mother tongue, but I did not speak it properly. So what I did was to speak it properly. I started translating English words into Tamil, and I started using it. It goes both ways. Okay, use a talk with yourself. Use a dictionary. Okay, read small small articles. Even it can be a recipe. Okay, use those words in your language. Use those small words in your language. Find the meaning and use it. Okay, that's never wrong. Okay, just start with basic words. Okay, and you can grow from that. My vocabulary was not so good when I was small. Okay, even now I have a problem with pronouncing three and three. Okay, because I have a problem pronouncing the th and dh. Okay, so never be bothered about it. If you make a mistake, accept it and just acknowledge it and move on. Don't get be frightened by it. Oh my god, I made a mistake. Don't be, because everyone, we commit a mistake some way or the other. So the first way of confidence is talk to yourself and find a person who's a learner like you, who doesn't make fun of you. Okay, and start talking with them, so that that person will also learn and you will also learn, and you'll get a confidence from that person. Okay. Yeah.
I have particular question.
Yes, sir.
I would like to ask you regarding in your introductory speech, you mentioned the countries like Australia or New Zealand or
Yeah.
USA, Britain using lot of idioms in their speech.
Yes, sir.
So, as an Indian, we are very much reduced manner. We are using that idioms in
Yes.
our
Yeah.
local communication. So, in that context, how can we improve such kind of idioms in our speech?
Yeah,
What
that's
level? Most of the parents are just advising to their children to
yeah.
read newspaper, and it will help your vocabulary and English language expertise. So, can you just give us some guidance on that?
Yeah, sure, sir. Actually, this is a very good question. This is a question
Sorry
which
for
was,
interfering
faced
between.
particularly.
Mr. Agupriya, we have only 2 minutes, unfortunately. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So yeah,
I don't know this how these 40
yeah.
minutes just went.
I I
Okay,
know.
please carry on.
So I'll send the answer to sir, but to be very like blunt and put in one line, you can start using idioms. Okay, find the idioms. There's a lot of, you just go on Google, put idioms and phrases in your mother tongue. Okay, just put Malayalam or Tamil or whatever it is, and also put idioms and phrases in English. Okay, and sometimes you can use Google Translate, translate it, and try to teach it to your kids. Try to use it in your language. Try to find out why that particular idiom came, so that it will be useful. Because this is something that we have found out, and there's a course coming up also, where books have been, going to be published for idioms and phrases. Because somewhere India is lacking in idioms and phrases, even though we are the ones who started it. If you know the history, we are the ones who started idioms and phrases with our mother tongue. Okay, but we have forgotten our culture. Whereas English people, they have not forgotten their culture. They are still in contact with. So start using little terms. Instead of saying it's raining heavily, you can say it's raining cats and dogs. Okay, it's raining like bizarre. So you can use certain idioms and find out the meaning and the reason behind it, so that not only your language but also your literary sense will grow. I'll send a particular, like a detailed version with sir, so that he can guide you out. A request, sir. But just start using it, sir. That's one way. And start using it to your kids, so that your kids will learn from a small age. They won't get intimidated by it.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
So I think now we need to wind up the session. We have less than 1 minute. So I just welcome Miss Senina for just winding up the session for a vote of thanks. Because we have less than 1 minute. I'm sorry for it. We just... Senina, are you there?
Yes.
Please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, please.
Okay. A warm and grateful evening to all. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks for this event. I would like to thank our chief guest, Raghavi Priya, who honored this session with her wisdom and inspirational thoughts. I would like to thank Sejna